Hey guys, Thunderset here, bringing you a new archetype that's actually pretty good, and it's Predaplants. So they're predator plants, they're like dinosaur plants, but they're all plants. So it's technically a fusion deck, but it does a lot of interesting things. It revolves around this boy, Clamidosu Do. That's a very weird name. So, monsters with a predatory counter, don't really worry about that too much, are treated as dark fusion material. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one dark fusion monster from your extra deck, really only one monster we're using this card on the field from your hand, this card on the field, or in monsters from your hand, and or monsters with a counter on them. You can only do it once per turn. So we only really have one way to put a counter on things, and it is kind of our main combo, but I'll get to that in a sec. It is this boy, Spino Dino, yeah. But he will normal summon or special summon, place a counter on something. So that goes really well with our Predapractice. So Predapractice, special summon one Predaplant from your hand. Then add a Preda card from your deck to your hand. So, say you have Predapractice, and we're using this. We're going to Predapractice and a Spino. So you use Predapractice, special summon the Spino, puts a token on your enemy's monster. Now you get to search your Clammy. Now Clammy is going to be able to normal summon, and if all of that goes undisrupted, you can fusion summon using your opponent's monster with a counter to make our Chimera Felicia. Very strong monster. We'll get to it in a moment. It's pretty much the only reason this deck's pretty good. And that's the combo, guys. You can steal your opponent's monster. You can use any one of our dark monsters in a hand. You can use other Spinos. All it really requires is one Predaplant monster, and you can do it with this. So that's the basic Predaplant combos. We've wrapped them around dark monsters because it requires, like I said, a Predaplant and one dark monster to do this boy. Why do we want to summon this boy? Once per turn, you can target one monster on the field with a level less than or equal to this card and banish it. Super simple. It's a level 7, but we're also using level Aug. We can level Aug as high as 4 to make him an 11, and we'd virtually be higher than everything at 11 and be able to just simply target and banish anything. But it gets even better. When an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's face-up monster, you can activate this effect until the end of this turn. That opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack, and if it does, this card gains 1,000 attack, so it can't really be swung into. Once per turn, during your standby phase after this card was sent to the graveyard, add one polymerization spell or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. So we can use it with invocation. We don't really have a polymerization, but we do have Invoke. So now Invoked is not our win con. The only really invoked monster we have is Kaluga that we can bring out ourselves. We do have one Purgatrio just sitting in there in case our opponent wants to give us a fire monster, but it's not something you can bring out on your own with this deck. We really focus on our plant. When you're using Invocation to summon this plant, all your stuff has to be in your hand. So if you normal summoned an Invoker, searched an Invocation, you would need a Predator and a Dark Monster in your hand to make your boy. But that does actually happen. So really, think of Alistair as support. Alistair is going to be something you want to use for level Aug. Alistair is going to be something you want to use to bump this boy's attack. And then if you know what you're doing, you can really use Kaluga. But he's a double-edged sword you have to really watch out for. So you don't want to just throw him on the field. He'll make it so you can only attack with one monster. He'll make it so you can only use one effect. So you have to be careful with him. And on top of that, just some Cosmic Cyclone. We also have some lovely Plague Spreader zombie plays. I was really tempted to go with less invoked angle, more of a Plague Spreader zombie. But as long as you know invoked is not the point of this deck, and it's just accessory, guys. You're going to be using your Invoke to buff monsters as a dark monster and as an emergency way to get to a fusion card. So don't think it's just an Invoke deck. Really, your win con is this boy. So Plague Spreader just gives us other little synchro plays. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. Our boy gets 7. Plus 2, we could get a 9 if something were to happen to him. And then we have Spirit Boys as a dark monster who can be used as fusion from our hand. And obviously, he's probably still the best hand trap in the game if we don't count Kyroid limited at 2. So it's actually a surprisingly strong deck, guys. I was really blown away by how smooth it is. It's, it's a fusion deck, so I'd probably add maybe a third Predaplant, get rid of the Purgatrio. But, you don't want to be caught without a Purgatrio in a moment where you could have summoned one. Just very interesting deck. It's also really applicable. There's only 3 super rare. get at least 2 ultra rare and you're good to go, guys. So that is kind of a tall order, but it is doable. Fun little archetype. Hope you guys enjoy the replays. Alright, here's Jessie Anderson. We are going second. Let's see what he's got for us. I don't know why this replay is moving so slow. So here we have our Practice, but no predatory monsters to do it. People are still playing Elemental Sabers. That is so embarrassing. How can you, like, how? This deck has not been cool for a very long time. You really gotta be pretty desperate, or it's all you have. If it's all you have, it's all you have. But I mean, play something else, dude. So here, we're using our Practice, guys. We special summoned our boy in defense. That lets us search our Spino. Spino places a counter on Molehue, but now he's gonna chain and flip our Clammy face down, so we can't finish our fusion. But we're still not scared of this boy with our Karibo and his battle phase skipped. So now we're gonna Cosmic Cyclone his Palace in hopes that he doesn't have another, but they always have another every time you do that. And he had a Nalu in hand to continue his degeneracy. And of course he has another Palace, so just look at this trash. It's Canadia 2, the most basic deck I've probably ever seen in my life. Now he's going with an Invoker, going for Invocation. How are we going to get out of this one, guys? With our easy, lovable Sphere Boy. So strong. Not afraid of these giant played out monsters. Letting him do his whole combos. Now he tries to swing at our boy. We hit him with the Sphere Boy. He finishes him off with his Molehue, but we're not scared. So we got another Sphere Boy, which means we're going to be just fine. Now I'm going to level og this boy to 8. Why on earth would I level og this boy to 8? Because when he attacks something that's a lower level, which is now every monster, he's going to be able to special summon our Clammy from the deck. Here, we're searching Invocation. We're going to use our Invocation. We're going to make a Kaluga to sit right on the field for us. Now we're going to use Invocation, get that Invoker back. Now we have a 2800 body to sit there, and he will stop our boy from chaining effects after his Molehue. Here he's going to use his Molehue to flip face down, I think, our Kaluga. No, he does go for the Spino. Now he's trying to hit us with that Perk Trio again. Molehue once again, flipping us face down. Very degenerate deck, very satisfying to beat. He's trying to make his Palace go higher, but he can't obviously do the math. Pretty hard for him. So we flip him to defense. He destroys our Spino with his low boy, but hello, when our Spino battles a lower level monster, I get a special summon my boy. So he made a big mistake there. Now I use my boy plus his Molehue to make our boy. Guess what? Even level, I'm still able to banish you. His monster's gone. We flip up the Kaluga. Remember, it's not lethal. Kaluga only lets us swing once, but we do have an Alistair to protect both our boys, along with our Cosmic Cyclone. Here he's got another Alistair of his own. Thinks he's still right back in the game with Purgatrio, but it's not lethal. We even have the life points to banish his Invocation, so that Purgatrio is going to stay nice and small. Tries to tie set bind, swinging at our Kaluga, but that just does us a benefit. Getting rid of our Kaluga, nowhere near lethal. We're still in the game. He's trying to second attack. We gotta read the cards, buddy. We activate our effect. He loses 1,000, we gain 1,000. He kills himself, not reading. What better way for a E-Sabers player to lose, guys? Great, great stuff. Okay, here's Jack Atlas. Going second, we're going for a rank up. This deck's good, guys. It was pretty consistent. It's our high legend rank up, so this deck doesn't play around. And you're noticing Invoke's not our win con. He's just accessory. He's just helping us. He's not our win con. So here, this guy makes a really weird super heavy samurai play. He goes straight into his 9. He does have a Flutus in the graveyard. Still a pretty weird play to blow your level log first turn on a level 9 super heavy samurai kind of play. So it's questionable at best. But he doesn't. Goes into his QB. And we'll take it, so we're going to use our Practice. We already have our boys in the combo, but we're going to use both. So here's Spino special summons and places a counter on that boy. But thankfully our boy uses Flutus on our Spino. That's perfectly fine with us. We'll let him get destroyed. while we use this boy. And him blowing that flutist frees up our Chimera to banish that boy, but he's a higher level. Not anymore. We use our Invoked to Invocation up to 11, banish that Kyumi, use our Invoker to up his attack to 35. Now we can Invocation. We're going to sit a nice little Kaluga right next to us. Remember, you can only attack with one monster, but our opponent wanted none of it. He just scooped, guys. Great stuff. Okay, here's YamiYugi. Going second, we're about to give this boy a rank down, and it's a good thing we are because he's some degenerate E-Sabers deck over 20 cards. Come on, bro. So we're about to teach him a thing or two about using new cards. Here's Predaplant. That special summons our Spino. When he's special summoned, we put a counter on that Molehue. There it is. Now we normal summon our Clammy. Molehue's going to chain, flip himself face down, so now we can't take his monster, but we can take a monster from our own hand, which we're more than glad to do, to bring our Chimera. Gets hit by a Floodgate, no problem though, because we still have Spino to swing over that little Molehue, and when you attack a monster that's less than or equal to you in level, you get a special summon your Clammy, so Clammy's there chilling in defense. Our boy summons another Molehue to take out our Clammy, pretty cold-blooded. Now we got a Cosmic Cyclone, get rid of that Palace. He's going to chain his effect just for good measure to get that last use of Palace. Flip our Spino face down, which literally does nothing. Flip him right back up. Normal summon Clammy, guys, here he comes. Now we use our Floodgated monster to bring another Chimera. Chimera will banish that boy, no problem. And we swing for a nice easy lethal with our Spino real quick this time over these E-Sabers. Great stuff, guys. Okay, here we are versus Alexis. I was still in the middle there, going first. Let's see what she's got first. Looks like over 30 cards, or over 20 cards. It's 23 cards. We have an Invoked and our Fusion Boy. So remember, Invoked is not the point of this deck. So we're just setting him like any old other monster. Here we're fighting Avengers. I'm going to Cosmic Cyclone Origin because I'm not afraid of getting OTK'd, and Origin protects them from an instance of destruction. I want that to not be there. So he's going to attack us. We really didn't need to because we could banish this boy as long as our level log is proper, but we'll go through here. So I might have to explain this play too with Sphere Boy. So I'm going to normal summon our Clammy. We get rid of the Sphere Kribo. Now I could have got rid of this boy, and the play would have been exactly the same and we would have had a Sphere Kribo. Because here I'm level ogging. You don't have to be higher with a monster level less than or equal to. So we could have level ogged with just our Sphere Boy, got him to an 8, and we would have still been able to banish that boy. But we simply banish him here. Now we're using an invocation straight from our hand. We're banishing from our graveyard. That way we can invocate again to get an Alistair who will bring this boy up. Now remember, I can only attack with one monster. Each player can only attack with one monster at a time, so this Kaluga is still hampering us. We couldn't have OTK'd, but now we do have an Invoked, and Kaluga will stop our opponent from chaining too many effects or attacking with more than one monster, and he ultimately scoops. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Shizu. Going second. So I think she was just running some super whack coin flip deck, and we just curb stomp right through her. So this is how you use your Predaplant. Let's say our opponent had a face-up monster, face-up Blue Eyes, and that's all they did. So we would Predaplant, normal summon whatever we had in our hand, search the opposite, we only have 2 of the monsters. Then we would normal summon this boy, he would put a counter onto our opponent, then we'd be able to use Clammy to use our opponent's monster, and our Chimera to swing for exactly. They'll hear our opponent put up a weak board, didn't have anything to contest us. But that's generally the play with the Predaplant and your plants and getting the counters. There's got to be an easier way for this archetype to get counters, I'm imagining. All they need is some sort of quick play spell like Aliens with Recombination, and then it'd be a little more aggressive, a little better. But right now they do have this basic combo. It's a basic 2-card combo to get it off, but it's very strong. It's kind of like DNA Surgery where it's still your opponent's monster. Very cool little archetype, guys. Try it out for sure. You'll probably enjoy it, and thanks for watching.